What's going on, everybody? You know, when I come on to the TV, the radio, or the podcast, I'm about it all. I'm a media guy who loves his job, and I love what I do with the holidays that I've created. Welcome to National Sex Day Podcast. We are the only podcast that is dedicated to everything about sex. We're talking about sex positivity, STD prevention, the LGBTQ community, people who are swingers, polyamory, those that are asexual, those who are celibate. We want to talk about it and cover it all. And now you have yourself a holiday that celebrates it. That is June 9th, the 6th month, the ninth day, holiday 69. Go to sexdays.org. You get all the information about the holidays, and the audio portion is on Swingers Lifestyle Radio or SLS Radio. We're also on XBiz TV, the leading TV place for all the stuff you will find in the adult entertainment world. We're on X at sexdays.org, and we're also on FetLife under National Sex Day. So it's all about it. We talk about it. We talk to the stars, the producers. We talk to people who are just like you and me, average, but at the same time, we have something to contribute. So with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, tune in, have a good time, help us spread the word. We're the only sex holiday documented for the last 3 years. No one can take it from us. It's already on paper, people, and we're taking it to bigger and better places because of viewers like you. Speaking of taking them bigger and better, ladies and gentlemen, this is a first for us. We have a person in the local DFW area who sometimes hangs out at swingers bars or was a swinger at one point in time. That is something we haven't tapped into deeply, but we're going to do more about that because a lot of people, they do what they do. We're not here to condone. We're not here to judge. But we want to have an explanation of how things are, protocol, what to expect, because people are curious. With that being said, I've got a little bit of Spice, y'all. I want you to give a big welcome to Spice. How you doing today, Spice?
I am doing absolutely wonderful.
That is great
It,
to hear.
it is a beautiful day.
It's a great day anytime a spicy person's on my show. And I tell you what, when I met her, I had to get her story. She had something to say about where we were. I do a lot of promotions in the area. I do promotions outside of the state of Texas as well. But a friend of mine owns one of the biggest swingers clubs in our state. Of 30 million people, he has three. One here in DFW, one in San Antonio, one in Oklahoma. It's called Club Eden. And everybody who's there is not really a swinger. I mean, some people want to see what it's like. Some are all the way. Some people are in the middle, kind of curious. But my friend, as you see, she happens to be in a wheelchair. And here's the thing: people with disabilities should have the respect of every community. They're just like us. We might have to take it a little bit slower here and there, but the thing is, they've got feelings. They need the love, they need the admiration, and they have the rights like everyone else. So you treat them with the respect that they deserve. Hey, man, you want respect, you got to give it. And we're going to give her the respect to tell her side of the story as far as what she does, how she does it, and maybe who she's doing it with. You know something, Spice? It was really good meeting you last weekend, but I want to know something straight off the bat. What's it like when you first started in the swinging community?
Um, at first it was a little uncertain. Like, how does this work? How do I talk to people? How do I initiate conversations or perhaps more? How does everything work? What are the rules?
Understood.
Um, that was a little daunting at first. I will say that being female made it a whole lot easier.
Yeah,
Um,
that's one thing people didn't understand. It always leans toward the female, just about in most of the topics that we do. But in that community, the female is always going to be the eye catcher candy.
Absolutely. Um, we as a society have made men almost terrified to even say, "Hi, I think you're pretty. May I have your phone number?" Oh my God, sexual harassment. It's insane for men now. Um, as a swinger, when I started going to the clubs and the house parties, and I will say I started with the house parties first. They were a little more intimate, a little more uh, open to conversation. Um, the clubs typically have really loud music, so you can't really talk to people to find out if you are, in fact, interested in them.
Yeah, you have to
Um,
regulate most of the clubs anyway because they have the rules, obviously, what members, non-members can do, where a house party is more laid back and there's typically snacks and both environments are BYOB, but they do light screening because not everybody's invited. You got perverts out there that do not belong in that environment.
oh, absolutely. And I've been to those parties as well. And when I saw that being a thing, I exit stage left. The swinger clubs that I go to now, there's really only one. I've looked at several of them in the DFW area, and Eden is the only one that I think is safe, open, friendly. That's my personal opinion. So others can disagree with me, but
Absolutely.
um, I loved being able to meet other people that sex wasn't taboo.
That's true. And sex gets a bad rap. And that's one of the founding pillars of this holiday. We put on our website, sex is not a dirty word. Everybody's done it. Everybody's doing it. That's how we all got here. It's just, you butt heads when you say that publicly. Sex, oh, but you say that word, the fish stop swimming in the aquarium. People look at you funny, but it's something that needs to be talked about. But we don't kink shame, we don't body shame. We have an environment in places like this where people can have their sexual freedom with boundaries, but at the same time, um, not be as judgmental and experiment in boundaries that just may enhance the sex life.
Absolutely. Boundaries, I will say, are very important. They are important for you to understand for yourself. And they are also important to understand in any of your partners and how to respect them.
Exactly. Respect goes so far in this community, or it should anyway.
It,
People who are
it
dis
should.
pardon me,
It should. I was agreeing with you.
it should. And one thing about this club, I again know the owner, known his wife. Hell, I went to their wedding. I mean, we're good buddies here. The thing is, if they are disrespectful, or if they are violating the rules, or if they, bring in substances, which has happened before, they're thrown out. A lot of these places want a safe environment for this. They know sex is a part of it. They know people may be impaired because people like to drink, people like to party. We're not saying don't do that. We're saying do it with a certain amount of, give back here and also safety. Big time on the safety.
Absolutely. And let me give a shout out to Chris and the management staff of Eden because all of the years that I've been going there, I had one creepy experience. And uh, I mean, I can tell you that story. It's not a great big long story, but I took it to management, and that person was immediately surrounded by management very quietly. They didn't make a big scene in the club, but very quietly escorted him to the front door, and I have never seen him again.
Yeah, they make that point clear. If you violate certain things, you're not going to be there because everybody, it bothers people. It bothers people in general. You may not be personally affected, but they'll hear about it and they'll keep their eyes open for it. I've heard more quote unquote negative stuff to alert, like watch out for this person. We heard this, keep your eyes on that person. In general, it's a great place. I'm pretty sure most places are. But believe me, swingers are like, if there is a little bit of impropriety or something that's unsafe, it's like an alarm going off in a bank. People are saying, get the person out so we can continue the party that we have. And I applaud you for being on the show because a lot of people don't want their identity out there. You have the right not to be seen or talked about in the Swingers Club, or you might want to say, hey, you know what? I'm open about it. I don't care who watches. So it's hard to find guests that do want to talk about swinging on podcasts visually. And you know what, my friend, you're the very first one. So I hope I get many more after you.
I hope so too. I don't think it's a negative thing, but here in the Bible Belt, I'm a bit of an obscurity because I don't care what you think of me. I am a good person. I am a family member. I deal with, my aunts, uncles, cousins, parents, children, whatever. But
Mhm.
I am still a woman in my own right. And I still enjoy the things a woman can enjoy.
There you go.
So I don't see there's anything. What a person does in their bedroom is for them and them alone.
Exactly.
And
And
if they want to take it out of the bedroom, so be it.
I was going to say, see, there's levels of this. There are people who are quote unquote swingers. There's a division in there. Some are full swap, some are soft swap, some are voyeurs, some like to be watched, exhibitionism. These are all factors, and everybody kind of has their clique. Most people, they think they have to walk inside and it's going to be this massive Roman orgy and everybody's naked, everybody's screwing, everybody's doing. That is sometimes not, most of the time, excuse me, not the case because people have different facets of what they like. But I will say, being a swinger as yourself, and you say you also have polyamory too, correct?
I am, yes, I am polyamorous. I am part of the polyamorous swinger kink communities in DFW.
The people,
So I like to dip my fingers in all of it.
some people don't think it can't work. It can work. It works out to the advantage of the people working with it. So if you say this and somebody says, well, it doesn't work, well, it doesn't work for them. Let's just clear that up. It may not be their fit, but it is your fit. Like when people say, oh my God, a dude slept with a dude, so he's a homosexual. Actually, there's a lot of straight guys who are experimenting with that and they still have their heterosexual card. I'm just saying you can't give a stigma or something to somebody as adults. We do and give our own. So swinging polyamory works. I say go for it.
Absolutely. It's all based on the individual person and what they like, what they want, what they feel comfortable with.
Comfort. That's the thing.
Um,
Level.
my my adventures into swinging started because I am an exhibitionist, or at least I once was. I'm not so much anymore. I've lost some of my confidence being in this chair. Um, but exhibitionism and multiples.
Gotcha.
I like to be touched. I like to have experiences from multiple sets of hands. That being said, I am pretty much solidly heterosexual. I do not enjoy other women. I'm not disgusted by them, but it's not something that turns me on or draws me to them.
Exactly.
Now, I can watch two women together and see them enjoying each other, and I can enjoy watching them, being the voyeur on that.
Sure.
But for myself personally, I like men.
See that? The pendulum swings with couples who always have the gate open, typically for, women. Typically, that's kind of a given. Where some are like, well, we do want that single guy in there too. I've come across that when I'm doing promotion there. Now, again, I don't consider myself a swinger, but I do promote in these clubs. Like if I go to a gay bar, I'm not a homosexual, but we do what we do, passing out the condoms there, giving the testing numbers, stuff like that. So everybody, I'm saying just because you're there doesn't mean you do all this. But I know that sometimes I've been approached like, hey, he's a single guy when typically they want the single girls or the even balance of couples. Because people say couples for couples, but man, some people walk in there with multiple partners. There's one guy who I don't know who has two or three girls on his chain at all times. Older guy, younger girl. Hey, if it works for them, it works. But
Absolutely.
you bring it to the plate. You bring it to the environment, and people kind of go from there, and there it is. So let me ask you this. Most places that do what they do, some are not as handicap friendly, but you can get around pretty good at Eden. I've seen you coming back and forth, and we like that you can navigate better than some people, even, regularly. I'm like, this is what we're talking about. Inclusion, access. Is
Absolutely.
everything up to code from a person who has to get around a little differently?
There, I will say at Eden, there are a couple of areas that I don't have access to, some raised seating areas, but that's really not an issue for me. Um, when I have been in Eden or places like that, um, my friends that want to talk to me, they understand I'm not taking my chair up them couple steps. So they come down to me. and everything works.
Perfect.
Um, I'm not going to complain that not every single square inch I have access to.
Yeah,
I have access to the whole club,
that's what I mean.
so I'm good.
Yeah, I'm saying that because we want to encourage everybody to go there. We're encouraging people um, to, party, hang out wherever they want to go, and to navigate bigger and better. Hey, that's cool. I was at a house party where the couple, they were blind. They had the canes and all that stuff. They came via taxi. They called ahead. They gave them an address, and they came and they said, "We got the visual impairments." But they had a hell of a time. They had a hell of a time. They're
Absolutely.
drinking wine. They're joking. Some things they wanted to try with other people. I mean, and people said, man, they came and kind of rocked it. So again, with the swinging society, it's more open than most people think. There's destinations people go to. There's a guy who's promoting our website, ASN Magazine. That's one of the biggest swingers magazines online. And he and I met at Exotica this year, and we're doing some co-productions together. But still, the community, just has to get over what other people think. And you're open-minded, and you don't care what people think. You do as you do, or you do as you don't. But hey, man,
Pretty much. I have no place for being judgmental, and I understand that that is a lot of what people worry about. Oh God, how are they going to see this? What are they going to think of this? And I'm me. I'm going to do me and be happy with it.
if
So
you if you had to
if
give
I'm at
somebody,
a, I'm sorry.
if you had to give somebody some advice, because those that have not crossed that path, they're saying maybe we should try it. We don't know how to cross that threshold. If I were a newbie going to a club like this, what advice would you give a couple walking to a swingers club the first time?
If there is something that you're interested in, say hi, introduce yourself, start a conversation. Um, because everybody's a little different, I'll say feel your way through that conversation. If it were me, if somebody wanted to approach me, but they saw my chair, they're like, oh God, she's paralyzed, she can't feel anything. Whatever. Come talk to me. I'm not paralyzed. I can feel everything I need to feel, but you need to come talk to me and I'll tell you what I can and what I can't do, what I need help with. I cannot control my legs. They fall down sideways and go different directions, and I have no say in the matter. So if you're going to be with me, then you're going to have to know, okay, you are responsible for making sure my legs are in a position. You take care of that. I got the hips all on my own. We good.
Y'all heard it. You heard it there. See, now you're gonna have all these people coming to your inbox saying, "Yep, we know now." And some people are hesitant because they don't want to be offensive. A lot of people, they want to know, or they find the best uh, measure of moving forward with you. But if they don't want to say something that would offend people, I know I do that often. I'm like, I don't want to say something like that. I hate using the word disabled. I hate that word. It shouldn't exist. But respectful for your feelings and all that stuff. But like you said, you can do things that everybody else can, if not better. And folks, she's got the hips to do it. So watch out. Uh,
I once, before I ended up in a chair myself, I was starting to have problems with my legs. I met an absolutely gorgeous black man uh, at the club, and he was in a wheelchair. He was a uh, former police officer that was shot in the line of duty. It severed his spine. That was the story that he gave. So we'll go with that being the truth. He was, God, he was gorgeous. And I straight up asked him, I'm like, all right, so you're paralyzed. You're a paraplegic. He said, yes. I said, does it work? And he laughed. Okay. Because, I mean, how else do you ask other than to be blunt?
Sometimes you have to
And
go straight to the source and say it like you just said.
yeah, I said, does it work? And he just laughed and he goes, honey, would I have paid the entrance fee to be here if it didn't?
Hmm.
And so then, of course, yes, we had to laugh. It was a funny moment. I unfortunately did not get to experience this man because my legs being weak, even then, it would have been mandatory that I be on top. and I don't have that ability.
Gotcha.
So, damn.
She's like, I'm going to keep in touch because one day that just may change, man, and it just might, you know. And yeah,
Yeah,
kudos to him, and law enforcement, you know, doing what he's doing and stuff like that. So, you know, that brings up the stuff like in the playrooms and all that stuff. You know, that they Eden's got a big ass playroom, big ass private section. I love it. They redid it, remodeled it. They got air back there, thank goodness, because things get a little hot back there. I know that for a
a
fact.
little bit.
It does. And they also are building a studio too. And when that studio is built, we're going to be podcasting with the owner because he now has the official National Swingers Day, the holiday I created, Swingers Day. We celebrate it there on an annual basis. So when people think about the holiday, I want them to think about Club Eden, but they're going to be broadcasting on their end now. So it'll be not one, but two podcasts I'll be related to with this stuff. So if you're there, my good friend, because we like spicy things, and if Chris wants you to be on his segment, can I recommend you?
Absolutely.
It's coming. It's coming. It's almost built. They're just soundproofing it right now. But he told me the last we spoke, he said, let's do this together. So, people watching this program, hey, swingers community, you guys do what you do from Seattle to Miami. We get that. But National Swingers Day, Swingers Week, and Swingers Month, created by us, we'll have the home of Club Eden in here in Texas. But we can go elsewhere and podcast with you, promote you, and get out there. Next year, I plan on being on a small tour. So I hope to see you guys there. But the holiday started here. It's going to be here. And this is the first time we cracked the egg. And Spice, as far as I'm concerned, will always be one of our guests.
Thank you.
Hey, man, I like spicy stuff. I'm half Cajun anyway. You know, put a little hot sauce on it. It's going to be just fine. I promise you that. So,
Then I'll have to make you some poppers.
oh, I didn't know you could cook too. Oh, well, I take that back.
Very, very limited. Very. Let me be very honest with you. I have some beautiful signature dishes, and I burn eggs. So
I just figured you had a honey pot we could stir.
I do, as a matter of fact.
Now, we had a few minutes left, but let me get this in because I'm not sure if we had this conversation or not. But do you also create content?
I do not. I've thought about it, but then I'm like, I don't know what I would say. So I'll leave that to you.
The reason I asked that is that we had a not a seminar, but we actually worked at an event with a woman named Tiny Texie. She's the smallest porn star on record, 3'8". She's very 70 pounds. She's from Corpus Christi, Texas. She came up here and did a show at a strip club. She's got some issues with her vision and her hearing. And she tells people, hey, you know, I've got this stuff, but it doesn't keep me from doing this. You know, I'm small. I know this. And can you believe that little itty bitty body has two children? I don't know how she had them. And she's like
That's
11 tall.
impressive.
Believe me,
That is impressive.
very impressive. And it's true. You know, she's got kids. She does what she does. And everybody around her was telling us it's hard to navigate with her sometimes because she can't hear well. She can't see well. But, you know, she gets through when she gets through. But she makes content. That doesn't stop her. And she makes a lot of money. So believe me, there is a audience out there for persons like yourself. And people may be interested. So that just might be another level of income for you.
Well, disability kind of sucks. So if that's an avenue, I might have to look at that.
It's an avenue. It's an avenue. There are people who don't have limbs. There are people who, you know, have whatever they got, you know. People want to see that because other people like to say, hey, if she can do it, I can do it. And it's a turn on for some folks. So consider that. Don't limit yourself. I didn't say you did, but I'm saying this is something you just might want to travel in. And after this broadcast, I might call you and talk to you about this.
Absolutely, please do. And let me say before I, bounce out of here, for those that are dealing with a disability of some sort, the loss of confidence is a very real thing, but don't lose hope. You will figure it out. You can still do whatever it is you can still do. Don't limit yourself because you've lost this or that.
Don't
You
limit.
still you still have feelings.
You still have feelings. I knew of a gentleman who was in a wheelchair and he lost everything waist down. He says, yeah, I can't do certain things. I just can't. My body won't. And I enjoyed that. He says, but I got a tongue that can lick from here to the wall. He says, it's going to happen one way or the other. We're going to make it work one way or the other. He never gave up. He had the best spirit. Lost touch with him. He's a counselor. I hadn't seen him in years, but he'd ask girls out. He says, hey, you know what? I can turn you on with this better than when I had this. And he just rolls with it. He's good at it. He's flirting. He's asking for numbers. And he's in the game. Can't rule it out. You can't stop.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that man probably loves being held and touched, feeling breasts press up against him, feeling hands run over his torso. There are sensations everywhere. Find them.
Touch therapy is part of it, just like sex coaching.
It's a very real thing.
When I became a sex coach, that's part of the equation. And you will find these techniques for most people to be positive. We need that touch. We're affectionate creatures. We love hugs. We love, getting together with other people, whether it be your spouse or friends or whoever. If you're isolated and by yourself, see, that's actually unhealthy. It's unhealthy. Sex is healthy. Good sex is healthy. It's a cardio. It's a workout. All these benefits that we have, but yet it gets a bad rap, a bad taboo. And for some reason, it's only for normal people. And that's bullshit. It's for everybody, anybody who wants to participate with willing participants. Plain and simple.
Normal people are boring.
In a sense. Hey, like you said, spice. You got to spice it up, man. The norm is okay, but sometimes you got to flip it on the other side and get with it. So I appreciate your enthusiasm. I appreciate your
Absolutely.
passion. And I really appreciate you giving us the time to talk to and get some people educated in that field. So, next time, because it can be a next time, down the road sometime next year, would you mind coming back?
Oh, absolutely. I like talking to you, so I would be happy to be here.
She likes talking to me. People say she needs therapy. I'm not the person to talk to. I'm nuts.
Okay, in my defense, I have an amazing therapist, and so yes, I need therapy, but she does a great job.
I need therapy too. I'm kind of drinking it right now, but hey, folks, it's after 12 o'clock here. I can have a beer, at least one anyway. That's probably I'm going to get for the rest.
Works.
But anyway, hey, we want to thank everybody for tuning in and checking out our podcast because we really, really put a lot into it. National Sex Day, again, is the only sex holiday that is recognized on calendar and record. For 2.5 years, we've been going strong. We love the fact that people are jumping on and helping support what's going on with us. We support safety in the industry. We do, because people have to have that safety factor when they're filming, when they're doing their contracts, when they're doing their testing. We support people in the LGBT community. We support people who are swinger, polyamory, those that are coupled up and want a third or a fourth. We don't care. You do what you do as an adult, and if it feels good, you're not breaking any laws, then you go for it. We're about sexual freedom, sexual positivity, sexual therapy. All that is a big part of the equation. You want to check us out, go to sexdays.org. That is the website. We're also on Twitter or X, sexdays.org. We're on FetLife at National Sex Day. We're also on XBiz TV and our YouTube channel. You can find us. We want your feedback. We want to put people like yourself on the podcast and get your story. That being said, we'll see you guys next time. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us.